that will keep them in shape. But as in all of life, the small, ordinary practices are the ones that transform us most completely, that actually change our bodies and souls, that give us new capabilities, new eyes, new hearts. That's what this audiobook is about, learning to build and nourish our souls through loving repetition, through being humble and brave enough to begin again, again, again. My favorite books are the ones that give you a sense of the writer, who they are, what they love, what moves them, and what scares them. Leeana is a writer that you begin to know across the pages. I can picture the bougainvillea even while I'm firmly planted in the Midwest as I read. I can smell the salt and see the golden Southern California evening light. I can feel the table and the coffee, the quiet of the mornings. Through her writing over the years, Leeana has reached deep inside herself and offered her readers her own life and soul with such generosity. And this book is her richest and most generous yet. Introduction. Restless. Our heart is restless until it finds its rest in thee. St. Augustine. 9 years ago, I was a brand new mother to boy-girl twins, and everything felt enormous. My love was enormous, my fear was enormous, my self-contempt was enormous, my exhaustion, enormous. The pile of empty Diet Coke cans, enormous. The baby's beauty, enormous. The weight of how perfect it all was, just waiting for me to mess it up, enormous. I could not cut a path through the extraordinary landscape. It was all just huge, and so I felt nailed to the couch, floating, in love, and entirely anxious, like I wanted to crawl out of my own skin. Of course, you have no idea what I'm talking about whatsoever. It was in these very early days of motherhood that I read the line from the Rule of St. Benedict, which transformed into not just a line, but a lifeline, and has been with me every day since those winter days almost a decade ago. Always we begin again. Benedict's rule for monks called out the holiness of repetition, even the spiritual efficacy of it, though our culture preaches only the opposite. It gave a certain grace to beginnings that saved me over and over again in those days of being a beginner. Because that's all those days were, one beginning after another, and let's be honest, that's what so much of life is, learning how, and learning how again, over and over. Each day is brand new after all. We've never lived this day before. It is certainly difficult to not get impatient, even contemptuous with ourselves over our utter noviceness in life. And the difficulty of being new and inexperienced tempts us to become experts, or in some cases pretend we are experts, long before we actually are. So this emphasis on the sacredness of beginning and beginning again was a hold in what felt like vast amounts of thin air. It was permission to be unaccomplished, to be a beginner, to be brand new. More than permission, too, a sense that I was right where I should be, and that the beginning space was actually a holy space, not just a layover on my way to something better. I put the always we begin again sentence in my pocket and have carried it around since. 4 simple enough words have alchemically been both a guide and a companion to me. Even on the heels of the most overwhelming moments, I could begin again. When nothing else helped or made sense, I could always begin again. Just the knowledge that this hand was forever reaching toward me comforted me like little else. We are a restless breed, we human beings. Our hard and our hurts propel us and paralyze us, and it's a real trick to recommit to each moment. We spend a lot of restless energy hurling ourselves back into an unchangeable past or forward into an unknowable future. We want rest. In fact, I think most of us are borderline desperate for rest. A break from all the agitation that innervates our bodies and our minds. We want the capacity to stay right where we are instead of reeling from regret or forecasting. We want peace from the inside out, building a life on something settled and centered inside us. But all this is hard to come by, isn't it? Which is why I believe the practice of beginning again is one of the single most significant gifts you can give yourself. I want to talk to you about how beginning again helps us live moment to moment.